Hello, my friends. Let's get straight to it. Trump has once again stated that he plans to negotiate a ceasefire with Putin.
Tomorrow I'm speaking with President Putin of Russia to save some soldiers who are in deep trouble. They're captured. Essentially, they're surrounded by Russian soldiers. So I give you a lot of different things in one news conference, but it's a big deal. They're surrounded by Russian soldiers, and I believe if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be here any longer. I was able to get them not to do anything at this moment, but it's a bad situation in Russia, and it's a bad situation in Ukraine. What's happening in Ukraine is not good, but we're going to see if we can work a peace agreement, a ceasefire and peace, and I think we'll be able to do it. I'm speaking to President Putin tomorrow morning, yes.
Overall, we're waiting for the results of the negotiations, but once again, Trump exaggerates Russia's advantage and claims that the Ukrainian forces are surrounded, even though that's not the case. This is so-called encirclement is Putin's invention, and Trump believes only him, not Zelensky. And here is another fact showing that the US has actively started supporting Russia. The US Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is resharing nonsense that Voice of America and Radio Free Europe were rightfully banned because they spread pro-war narratives against Russia, said Shrike. As we can see, in the US, media outlets that oppose Russia are being blocked, friends, and this is supposed to be Ukraine's partner. How is this even possible? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. But that's not all. The White House press secretary openly spoke out against France.
Now there is a member of the European Parliament from France who no longer believes the United States represents the values of the Statue of Liberty. They want to take the Statue of Liberty back. So, is President Trump going to return the Statue of Liberty to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to this low-level, unnamed French politician would be to remind them that it's only thanks to the United States of America that the French aren't speaking German today. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
Essentially, they expect the entire world to thank the US while the US tries to take as much money as possible from everyone without giving anything in return. After all, Ukraine never received Lend-Lease aid. Let's move on to the situation on the front lines. Today, we unexpectedly have to start with the Zaporizhzhia direction as an offensive has begun again. But this time, it's not Ukraine trying to advance toward Crimea, it's the Russians trying to push toward Zaporizhzhia. So far, reports indicate they have advanced 2 kilometers, 700 meters closer to the village of Stepove and 1 kilometer, 300 meters closer to Mali-Sharbaki. However, the reality is much worse than official sources confirm. Even Ukrainian commanders and Russian war correspondents are now saying that all these villages have fallen under occupation. This means the front line here is beginning to collapse. Around 2 weeks of Russian assaults in this area haven't been in vain. The Russians' primary goal appears to be reaching a water barrier, which is currently about 17 kilometers from the front line. If they manage to cross the small river, something they have done multiple times before, the distance from the front line to the outskirts of Zaporizhzhia will be just 27 kilometers. Of course, this doesn't mean the Russians will break into Zaporizhzhia within a week, but the closer the front line gets, the heavier the artillery shelling will be, and they will begin leveling the city. So the fact that Russian forces are making gains here is a bad sign. Reports already indicate that due to intense shelling, approximately 3,000 households have lost electricity. Overall, the situation is rapidly deteriorating, and we're waiting to see how events unfold. In the Kherson direction, Russian forces have also intensified artillery shelling across the entire right bank. However, over the past 24 hours, no new breakthroughs have been recorded on the islands, and the front line remains unchanged. Now, let's move on to the situation in the area of Velika Novosilka. Here, the Russians are not reducing the activity and are applying maximum pressure along the entire front line. Attacks continue near Skudne with assaults on Shevchenko, Vilne Pole, and Novopil. Heavy shelling also persists, but there have been no changes to the front line over the past day. In the Kurakhove direction, the Russians are storming Constantinople, and reports indicate ongoing battles near Novoandriivka. However, over the past 24 hours, there have been no changes to the front line, and the fighting continues. The situation is most critical in the Pokrovsk direction, as Russian forces are conducting the highest number of assaults and shelling attacks here. They are storming Novoalexandrivka, attempting to break through to Novosergiyevka, and attacking Kotliny, Zvirove, the village of Promень, and Yelizavetivka. The shelling of Pokrovsk also continues, and with each passing day, more horrifying images of destroyed city emerge. Like Chasiv Pokrovsk is being leveled to the ground, and stopping the Russian bombardments remains impossible. Up to 10 caps are hitting the city daily. In the Toretsk direction, the Russians are storming Sukhabalka, attempting to break through near the slag heaps of the mine and closer to Druzhba. However, over the past 24 hours, there have been no changes. The Ukrainian forces are managing to hold the defense, and there have been no reports of new counterattacks by Ukrainian forces in this area. In the Chasiv direction, battles are ongoing for the central part of the city. Russian forces are also trying to break through toward Protechne. While there have been no changes in the past 24 hours, the Russians are gradually increasing the activity to push toward Konstantinivka. That city too is being heavily bombarded with caps. In the Siversk direction, the Russians are storming Bilogorivka, Grigorivka, and Ivanodaryevka. There have been no reported Russian advances in the past 24 hours, but they claim new successes in Verkhnyokamensky. However, they haven't provided any video or photo evidence to support these claims, but last night Ukrainian fighters also reported that the situation is deteriorating. In the Lyman direction, assaults on Zelena Dolina, Lipove, and attempts to break through to Novomykhailivka continue. There have been no changes in the past 24 hours, but the intensity of attacks remains very high. In the Burova direction, assaults on Bogoslavka continue, with Russian forces attempting to break through near Lozova and storming Novoyegorivka. Further south, no new attacks on Hrekivka have been recorded, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Kupiansk direction, the Russians are storming Holubivka, Petropavlivka, and attempting to break through to the outskirts of Kupiansk. So far, they haven't achieved success, but the fighting continues. Assaults in the Dvorichne area also persist. The question remains, where are the Russians getting so many reserves for attacks across the entire front line? Nevertheless, they continue offensives on Kutkivka and Kamyanka. No changes have been reported in the past 24 hours, and Ukrainian forces continue to repel all attacks. In the Kharkiv direction, shelling continues without offensive actions and the situation has stabilized. Meanwhile, assaults in Vovchansk persist, though the front line remains stable. In the Kursk direction, Ukrainian forces still control Huyevo and the border area. However, Russian troops continue the offensive and are regrouping for a potential breakthrough into the Sumy region. While the front line hasn't changed in the past 24 hours, the situation remains highly tense. Meanwhile, Peskov once again stated that NATO's plan to deploy troops in Ukraine will only worsen the situation.
The deployment of NATO forces on Ukrainian territory. We are saying that a viable resolution is only possible by addressing and resolving the root causes of the problem. But instead, they are preparing to create additional.
And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.